can you see this person's perspective,
Right.
but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Launch Date Wednesday. I'm Devon O'Day.
Hello, I'm Teri Pugh. Good to
And
see you, Devon.
you know what? It's been a rainy couple of days. It's been flooding where I am. It is muddy where I am. I've just given up the ghost. I said, I am wearing my Tractor Supply muddy work boots. That's what I'm wearing now to go to work, because it's just, I mean, you get out of the truck, you walk across the parking lot, whatever. It's just mud and water. And I said, you know what? Today, I just want us to have a potpourri, kind of a popcorn conversation of people. Um, Everybody's got their question and everybody's got their issue. And I thought the people who are so good to join us every week, you guys can just join us. There's Mark saying howdy, howdy. There's Elizabeth. Good morning. I'm going to kick things off with a hard question. And I know someone who watches our show regularly, and I'm going to speak for them. Mark says, is it raining at your house like it's raining at mine? Yes. Quoting Vern Gosden. We're going to do that. Yes. Oh, and Sylvia joins us from Pineville, Louisiana, my hometown. I know it's probably raining there. Rains every day there. When you know it's over, when you are with someone who is toxic and you have to call an end to it, how is the best way to broach that subject with that other person? If the other person is toxic, you go, I've chosen to leave.
Well, that's got a couple of variables to it. They're toxic, but are they safe? Because
Okay,
you can be a toxic person and be a dangerous person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a completely different blueprint for leaving than just someone who is toxic, or unhealthy, just an unhealthy person that's not a good fit for you. And that's if if they are a person that you can actually have a conversation with, then they probably already know that there's something amiss in the relationship.
One of the things that I always tell everybody, if they are dangerous, but I have to tell them, but I have to tell them, but I have to tell them. No, you don't. If they are dangerous, there are those you don't. There's this thing that we have, we have to get justice. We have to say why they've hurt us, and they have to have. But if you have someone who's a non-communicator and they're violent or they're scary or they're something like that, you don't have to have the talk. Sometimes you have to leave in the middle of the night with your underwear in a pasteboard box. Not that that's happened to me. It did. But when you're dealing with someone who can be harmful, and I always say that don't look for rational with irrational people.
That is true. However, I will say this, that most of the time when we are in an emotional based relationship, and we are wanting to find rational, we will justify their irrational viewpoints. We'll justify it. So, the question, how to leave a toxic relationship? Well, it's as simple as in some ways, leaving. And that's not just physically leaving. That is mentally, emotionally, financially. It is severing, dialing back. It is creating space. If you're in a relationship with someone who's toxic and scary, then you don't have those luxuries all the time. We just need to get the hell out. And sometimes I understand that those are tied into, maybe you've got kids.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this topic, hopefully, enough that people know a blueprint is always good. That's whether you are leaving in the middle of the night or you're leaving at high noon on a Saturday. Doesn't matter.
Like Mark says, Walmart bag.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. knowing what you need and what is your fit,
Mm,
and then getting support, not necessarily from all family and friends, because sometimes they can be very biased. So figuring out what works best for you.
mhm. Let's talk about what's best for us. Another question that comes up on a regular basis is that I get asked a lot of times by people. How do I know I am not a narcissist? First of all,
Well,
obviously,
here's the
you're
here's
asking
the
that.
here's the truth bomb to that. People who are usually asking if they're a narcissist are not the narcissist.
Are y'all listening to that?
Because narcissists don't give, they don't care. They
Mhm,
like they know they're not a narcissist.
mhm.
So if you're asking, am I a narcissist? Then you've probably been gaslit to the point that you have two marbles left in your jar, and you're just willing to shake it all out that maybe you're the problem. I would go on record by saying you're not the problem.
Here's another clue too. If you have someone who you think might be a narcissist and they keep accusing you of things, pay attention because they're telling you their next move. Are they
Mm,
telling you what they're doing? And so if they're accusing you of cheating, they're cheating. If they accuse you of being unfaithful with finances, they're being unfaithful with finances. They always let you know what they're doing because they blame it on you and say that's what you're doing. That's the gaslight. That's the thing. Tim brings this in. No, just leave. Sometimes silence is the best way to go. And when you communicate it and ask for communication and never get that because they're too busy or doing their own thing or have no time for you, or they don't want to make time for you in the relationship, just time to go. Cut the ties and the communication.
yeah, and a lot of the reasons why some people are quick, I will reference that as being the flip switcher. You
Mm,
know, some people are flip switchers. It's like, I'm doing this thing, I'm doing this thing, I'm doing this thing, and they wake up one day and they're like, I'm not doing this thing anymore. I'm done. And there's no going back. Other people will justify, qualify, quantify, try to figure out what's the best angle, why, what if, we do this together, and then, they change. And what if, and life is really, in the big picture, life is really short for a lot of what ifs, because we can
mm,
feel 10 Homer buckets full of what ifs when the facts are right there in your face, and they will fit in them little bitty greeting card envelopes that are like 2 inches. It'll fit, that fact will fit right there. Like, you don't
right.
need any more. And so
Tim
it's about
says,
being real with ourselves.
yeah. I always say the first dog that barks is the dog that is doing it. Tim Bradley. I love that.
Well,
Oh,
and there's another part to that too. Like, a lot of times people will be in relationships and they might say, you're cheating, you're cheating, you're cheating. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the person that is claiming that other person is cheating is actually cheating themselves. It could mean that they're terribly insecure. So I think that's what happens society wise. We have these sort of frames like, well, if this is happening, then this is definitely happening. And it's like, it's not that black and white, unfortunately.
ooh, that's important to remember
Because
because it
people
isn't.
have, yeah, I mean, people have their own life experiences, and those life experiences, if they're terrified, if they suffer from abandonment issues, and you haven't been giving them the attention, whatever that attention is that they need, or if they feel like you're not giving them that attention, then they can accuse you of not being interested in them or being interested in someone else. That doesn't mean they
Right.
are interested in someone else. It just means that they don't know how to effectively communicate that their needs are not being met. So they accuse.
Mm.
We humans are
Elizabeth
good at that.
shares, my ex laid a hand on me one time. I forgave him and went back. He did it again. And I went out for the day with a girlfriend and never ever went back. It's like once, shame on you. Twice, shame on me. She's like, and sometimes that's we're in that situation. Okay, question number 3.
Okay.
You've undergone a change, a trauma. a bad relationship, or maybe you have dealt with substance issues and you're back on your horse.
Okay.
When is it safe to try a new relationship? They always, is there a time? I mean, I know that if you're in certain fellowships, they will say, give it a year before you even think about that. Do you think in terms of a time when is it safe? When is it right to think I'm okay enough for a new relationship?
Well, that sentence right there, I'm okay enough for a new relationship.
Okay, see, I knew you would find what I'm saying is like, okay, okay, okay.
And it's not so much a timeline, but we have to be real with ourselves. If you have ended a relationship and you are 2, 3, 4 weeks out and you're looking for someone else, you have to be adult enough to know that it's never one person that's the issue in a relationship. Even if you're in the relationship with a narcissist and you choose to stay with that narcissist, you have just as much accountability in that than just as much as the narcissist does. So if you are springboarding from one relationship to another, perhaps you have issues with being alone. Perhaps you should look at that. I'm just throwing that out there. If you are lining up somebody, you're lining up somebody before you leave the current situation, perhaps there's some issues that you should look at. I'm not saying you're not lovable. I'm not saying you're not intelligent. I'm not saying you're not fun and witty and successful. I'm saying you got some issues. And we as humans do that because I hear people say all the time, I don't want to be in a relationship. I just want to be alone. And I'm like, okay. And then we start to unpack that. And it's not really that they want to be alone, it's they're terrified of being left. Or I can't be alone. And I'm like, sure you can, you know. And as far as a timeline goes, every person is different. But
Mm.
I think that when you have been in consistent compounded neglect or trauma, or you cycle through relationships and, like people cycle through fast food restaurants, if that is your thing, then perhaps getting to know yourself, as uncomfortable as that may be, you won't know how to attract someone in a healthy manner until you know who you are and you're not a chameleon. So you're not dating the person that goes, oh, I just listen to country music, and suddenly country music is your favorite music of all time, ever, ever, ever. And then somebody else is like, oh, I just listen to jazz. And then suddenly jazz is just your jam. And we have to get to a place where without even knowing, we just trust that we are enough and that we can have differences with other people. And sometimes that does take, I don't think a year is a bad marker. um, I think that's a really good space to get to know yourself, because in the beginning you're not going to really like yourself a lot, or you're going to be afraid of certain things. Not everybody, but some people. And then about halfway through that halfway point, you really are content, and you're like, if it happens, it happens. I like myself. I like my own company, so I'm good with this. Then you're attracting a different type of person. You've shed that that part of you that um, sort of resonates out there with the narcissist and the
Yeah.
unhealthy and the toxic, and you're a different person. And so you attract a different level of person. You've leveled up, so to speak. So you attract a different type of person.
I love that. I love that. Question number 4. How long does the pain last? You've
How
gone
long do you want it to last?
Yeah, how long is this pain gonna last? Oh my
the
God. Because, when someone loses someone to a trauma, when you lose someone to suicide, when you lose someone because they left and you feel like you've been destroyed and I'll never love again, all those things, they affect us. And I get this question all the time, but when does it feel better? And again, I'm sure, like Elizabeth and you have both said in this conversation, it just depends on the person. Hey, Candy. Candy just joined us.
Hey, Candy. It does. It depends on the person. And here's the thing with that. Now, when I talk about, when does it feel better? Um, like getting out of a relationship, having someone break up with you, you break up with them, ending a relationship is completely different than losing someone, having someone die, transition, pass away, whatever. Like that's a completely different. I'm talking about, or what I'm addressing now is having someone being in a relationship with someone, they leave you or you. Ella would agree that, hey, Ella agrees that 1 year is good. And apparently the UPS man is here to murder me. So she is quite upset about that. But we'll see if he knocks at the door. I doubt that he does. But going back to, talking about people or talking about situations where someone leaves. And then if you are pining over that and you're like, well, how long is this going to take? I'm just heartbroken. How long? I mean, they left me. And what if I lose the weight? What if I, get my snaggle tooth fixed? What if I, get my hair fixed? I am so sorry. Let me mute you guys for just a second.
It's okay. I think about it. It's just like, I mean, I get the question all the time, when do I get a new dog? Because I just I hurt so much when I lost this other dog. And I said, "But do you love having a dog?" "Yes, I love it and I miss him so much." And I go, "Well, then get another dog.
Well,
Dogs
getting
don't
them,
have a
getting,
long life, you know."
um, how long am I going to be in pain is one thing where it is okay. The question that I ask people often, and my clients will tell you this when they say, well, how long am I going to, you know, am I ever going to love again? And I'm like, well, do you ever want to love again? How long is this going to last for me to
Well,
get over this person? Well, when do you
yeah.
want to get over it? What are you doing? My question to people very, very, very often is, what are you doing today in this moment that your future self is going to say, yes, thank you, even if you don't want to do it? What are you doing right now to get you where you want to be? If you tell
Right.
me that you're sitting there and you're pining and you're, upset and you're mad and you're angry and you're stalking people on Facebook and you're, going through old text messages, then you're not really ready to move on. So asking somebody when are you going to be over it, but then you're going through your old text messages, well, you're keeping yourself there.
One of the
It's,
things that I ask often of when I'm having the conversation about when, okay, close your eyes and think about yourself as a young person and all the things that you always wanted to do. And what are the things that fell along the wayside because you were in this relationship? And it could even have been a great relationship, but it took up a lot of the oxygen in the room. You know what I'm talking about? I love them. I love them. And so I just cared for them. Maybe they were sick for a very long time. And it was your privilege and your honor to take care of this person as they transition. I will venture to say that everybody has something that they always wanted to do, but because there was this other person taking up that space, they didn't do it. So sometimes if you say, okay, I'm going to take that vacuum that's there, that space that's there, and I'm going to do some of those things. I'm going to go back and pick up the crayons that I left with the coloring book. I'm going to pick up that ballroom dancing class. I'm going to pick up something that I never did for myself because I was so busy taking care of something or someone else. And that's kind of where it gets started for me. Um, because I venture to say that people have things that they have literally shelved because of there just wasn't time.
I, I you know, first person, I have been with people before that, you know, didn't like, um, I love to write. I've been with people before that I love to paint that didn't. It was just like, oh, I'd rather go out and do this or do this or do this or whatever, whatever. And because they didn't enjoy quiet time, I just
Yeah.
I just retired my paints and the easel and the brushes and everything. And when you start tapping into self likeness, which is what we get to before we get to self love, when you start tapping into that, then you get things back out again and you start doing things. And you
Yes.
actually take a sense of feeling alive. And
Yeah.
it's okay. Your relationships don't function or aren't designed just to be where we like everything the other person likes, and therefore we, we don't do anything that we like anymore. That is an unhealthy relationship.
Right.
That's an unhealthy
Truth.
one. Your partner doesn't have to like everything you like. In fact, I mean, do they have to like some things? Yes. Did they have to like everything? No. I
Hmm.
know people who are married that are, I know couples who are married. One's a Democrat, one's a Republican. I know couples that are married. One is Jewish and the other is Catholic. I know couples that are interracial married. I know, I mean, it's just, we don't have to like, we're not supposed to be cookie cutter to the person that we're with. We are supposed to bring our light, our color, our gifts, and they bring their light, their color, and their gifts. And suddenly we have this amazing new expanded version.
That kaleidoscope happens.
Yes. But when we
Yeah.
get together with somebody and all of a sudden we're like, oh, well, I better become a chameleon so that they will like me and stay with me, right there, we've started selling our soul away. We've started bartering it away. And
Truth.
once we do it once, we'll do it again and again and again until one day you wake up. I said to somebody, a client the other day, I said, if you imagine yourself, your partner as a gingerbread outline, and you imagine yourself as a gingerbread outline, and you're taking all of your puzzle pieces out of yourself and putting it in them.
Uh-huh.
And if it's not the right outline, eventually it's still not going to be a fit and you're going to be empty. You're going to have
Right.
nothing left to give. So we have to know, and we have to call bullshit on when we are being, a chameleon. Oh, I really want to hang out with my friends tonight, but my boo says I want you just to sit by me and watch, the 15th episode of whatever. And you're like, ugh, I don't want to do that. I really want to go and be with my friends,
Uh,
but you don't, because
yeah.
you don't, because you want them to love you.
I had a wonderful guy that was in my life. He was so sweet and wonderful. And then I always say, take an afternoon drive together. And I took an afternoon drive and I said, the music that they play will tell you whether or not you're going to like to spend any more time with them. And I had to listen to Neil Young all afternoon. You might be a fan, but I'd rather hear Cat's Mate. I mean, it's not my jam. And I thought, I can't even I can't be your friend. But it's like knowing those things that, and I go, well, maybe I'll never find somebody, because you never have anybody that you like all the same things. Well, you don't have to like all the same things. I like
No,
What Tim says. I've always heard in practice for many years, you have to love yourself before you can love someone deeply, or before you can attract a profound love. I love that, profound love. Self care, knowing your self worth, then your light will shine and bring out the best in you and in others. Took me 30 years to figure that out, and was ready to accept and love myself to be able to show that unconditional love. Love it.
absolutely. And here's the contrast that shows up with being a super healthy, fun, loving, outgoing, bright light shining. You're going to attract some really healthy people, and you're going to attract some crazy ones
And some bugs.
and some bugs. You're going to attract some bugs. And
Candy
so
says,
you got to know yourself well enough to know what is a fit for you and what is not a fit for you. And if it's not a fit for you, don't slide into that, oh, but I don't want to hurt their feelings.
yeah, well,
Mm-mm.
maybe I could like this. I could learn to like this. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's some things I am not going to learn to like. I had another gentleman that I just adored him, and I still adore him, but he was just convinced that he was going to talk me into swimming with sharks. I'm going, no, God gave me sense. There's no need. I don't need to swim with sharks. I
And
can
if he
appreciate.
likes it,
It's like,
you know,
no, jump in that cage. You can go and swim with all, well, you can do whatever you want to, not with me. Nuh-uh. Candy says yes. Or when you're a single mom raising kids on your own, you shelve what you like to do. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Candy. Candy is doing adventures now. I mean, she'll go paint and she'll go see music and so she is really on an enlightened path, and I watch her and she's just blossoming into this bright light because all those things that she shelved, she's going back and getting them and going, I want to try that. That sounds like fun. I don't know what we
Hmm.
do as we get older. We, for some reason, something that, well, that's fun. When we're kids, there's this great Instagram post today. I mean, it's been raining for 2 days, and Big Vinny from Trailer Choir, I just adore him. And he posted a picture of his little boy. Now it's been raining, and his yard is flooded. It's just a flood. And his little boy is out there in a Spider-Man outfit, jumping in his rubber boots and rolling around in that water. He said, "Now that right there is what we need to take away from today."
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and I tell, to Candy's point, when we are single parents, stresses, life, responsibilities, all sorts of things sort of knock at that door, and we start to answer it. And the more that we take, the more things that knock and we answer, the further and further from our things, that not that we don't love, our kids and our lives, but the things that really do spark that creativity and that stuff, we can tend to put those to the side. But I tell parents, as learning this from myself, I had to learn to, I did go back and started painting and started doing, the things that I loved while I was raising my daughter, because now she has a love for her own things, and she doesn't feel like she can't do it because, mom didn't do it, so therefore I shouldn't do it, because we teach our kids, we model to them.
I just think that you guys do the cutest things together. I mean, you and your daughter, the Halloween costumes alone are worth the price of admission. You made it something, and they're bringing that joy in. Candy says, thank you. I was always a fun loving, outgoing person, but raising kids by yourself puts a lot of pressure and stress on you. And it does. Uh,
Absolutely.
and now getting back to the things that she used to love. I think we all have things that we used to love. And I go, wow, didn't I used to love that?
But
Uh,
there's the thing. It's not even that we used to love it. We still love it. We're just getting back to it.
yes. Oh, that's good. See,
It's not like
reframing.
we're having to relearn to love it again. We're just connecting with things that we still love,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing, and as far as like the whole Halloween stuff, girl, I love some crafty crafts. I do. I do. I used to
You do.
joke all the time, and I quit joking about it because I thought, well, I mean, what is the saying? Well, I don't even know what the saying is I'm trying to say right now. But I used to joke and say Martha Stewart didn't have anything on me but a felony. And then I thought, well, I better stop that, because I might get myself a felony one day, and I don't want to. Then I have nothing to compare to. But yeah, it's fun. It to me, and crafty stuff is not everybody. I know Candy loves to paint. She's posted some pictures recently of some
And
stuff that she's
beautiful
done.
stuff. I mean, it's really
Yes.
amazing.
And we get into that, and when we get into it, a lot of times as an adult we get into it, we love it, but we're kind of like, oh well, we'll share it, but we're quick to go, well, this isn't that good, but I just want to. And it's like, didn't ask you how good it was. Don't tell me how to think about something. Just share.
It's
And
like, did
then
you have fun? Did you have fun? Did you
absolutely.
enjoy it? Oh, I know. I'm putting my pictures up. I said I painted that one right up there of my barn.
There
I,
you go.
and I don't care if anybody else likes it, because now my heart is from my friend Rachel. She's a professional artist, and I like my heart, and I'll put it right next to my other little picture. And
Hmm.
I'm just as happy. Elizabeth says, it does amaze me though how we can do the work. We can think we are there and happy and content with our own life. Then someone we care about says something that sends our brains into a spin, wondering if our reality is truly real. Oh, that's a good one.
And I say to be careful not to let people shake our reality, because they have their reality, and we have to ask ourselves if we're going to barter off and accept theirs. I think we know, as we do healing and we do self discovery and we lean into awareness and all of that. I think we know, we start to feel, I feel good about this. I feel good about this decision. I feel good about the person that I am. Now, people that know us and know our history, they're going to always circle back around and throw something down that gave them control over us or gave them some power over us. And they're going to throw that out in the hopes of triggering, because they don't, maybe, and it doesn't mean that it's in a malicious way, but maybe our growth is uncomfortable to them. I always say, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's triggering, if it feels like a conversation is like you're getting on an elevator and suddenly you say, I'd like to go to floor 7, and they're like 13, 10, 12, 57, 38, and they're pushing all the buttons, but just where you need to go.
Yeah. Elizabeth says, I did my angel wings over my bed. I love it. I saw those. Those were amazing. Everybody,
They are amazing.
it looked really, really good.
Maybe you should do a painting workshop, Devon.
Maybe we should. Well, speaking of workshops, we are running out of time, but we want to talk about really quick the 4 agreements. Your hootenanny is this weekend, isn't it?
That hootenanny was going to be this weekend, but that hootenanny is going to now be in March. So we have bumped it back. There's a couple of other people that are interested in doing it, but timing just wasn't ideal. So we're going to bump it back, and we're going to do it in March, and we're going to have a hootenanny then.
Okay, cool.
Hootenanny, hootenanny, whatever that thing is. Shindig. That's what we're going to do. Shindig and shenanigans.
The 4 agreements. Go to terrypugh.com to get information about that and to follow everything. Follow Transcending Turbulence on Facebook. You can reach me at devonoday@gmail. Hey, Bruce, I didn't get to give you a shout out. And we've already gotten this. Painting workshop. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, maybe we'll just do that. And I will say this, there is nothing on my webpage about the 4 agreements, because this one was just sort of pulled out of the hat and I was keeping it small. So if you have questions about it, just call me or go to terrypugh.com and shoot me an email or whatever. And I will definitely get back with you. But yeah, we've got a couple of workshops in the mix. Springtime, all kinds of stuff going to be popping off and blooming.
I know. I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I'm ready for our first stay away camp. I mean, I'm looking excited for that. I mean, it's going to be like one night, but let's be real. It's going to be one night, but
hey, we're going to have one. It's going to be a night.
Yeah. Slumber party, and we're going to paint and eat popcorn and whatever. We might even play Twister.
Oh, girl, I can see my yeah, y'all
play Twister. Well, I didn't say you wouldn't have to use the jaws of life to get me back out of that.
I can see me doing some Twister. My brain is twisting just thinking about it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, everybody, I'm going to let Teri put a bow on this. Candy wants to play Twister. Of course you do, Candy. Well, we'll play Twister, and you can film it, Teri.
There you go. It'll be a docu-series. Teri's docu-series on Twister. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. We love and appreciate you so much. And if you watch this on a repeat, do a hashtag repeat for us. And Devon didn't say this today, but she says it every time, so I'm going to say it. I don't know what all the vices are, the places you've got us on, but wherever they are, go there, like it. You get the little ding when it's time to chat.
Yeah.
And if you have anything you ever want to unpack for us, reach out, leave us a comment, either personally or on our page, and we will get back with you. And until then, I have a new little saying. I'm going to also say the last part, but I love.
No, you have to do that.
I'm inspired by the thought of creating memorable moments that tip the scale towards a beautiful day. And on that, I'll just say increase the peace. We love you guys.
Love you all. Bye-bye.